which has been a stated goal from, throughout the course of the lead up and the execution of this campaign, it would require that. There's no other way to secure it.
So how does Trump go from saying he wants to end forever war, saying that the other candidates are going to bring the United States into conflict with Iran specifically, he campaigned on that, to being in a position where if the stated goal was to stop Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon, that would involve putting Americans on the ground?
Well, I don't think this is a conflict. It would always been very clear that Iran could never have a nuclear weapon. So I don't think this is a shock to anyone if he would be willing to take action in this way. And I would like to just provide some context here. I mean, there never is a good war or bad peace, so I don't want to be glib, but I think what we've seen in the last 10 days is pretty astonishing. We just break from some reports 75% of Iranian missiles, the number of missiles were able to fire this decrease. I mean, dramatically, 130 to 280, now it's about 18 as of today, I believe. So I do think we're making progress, and it's been 10 days. Let's get another 10 days and see where we are. I would acknowledge as well, though, Ruth Rice is one that mission creep, if you will, was obviously a huge problem in Iraq where the goalposts to change. And so I think that's something the administration needs to be super cautious of. I think they are. Trump is very aware of his base's sentiment. He doesn't want to get involved in an entangled foreign war. And I think what I would say too is the American people love to win. If you go back and you look at Desert Storm, and obviously you can speak to this much better than I mean, it was very successful. The amount of timing which was on the ground for was days, time in weeks. And you look at Bush's ratings coming out of that, he had an 89% approval rate. So the fact of the matter is we don't know how this is going to end. And if it is a month, I think that's going to be,
It's already been
huge.
much
And
it's also
months.
of all of the conflicts that we've seen over the last 50 years. This is perhaps the most unpopular. The American people are already unhappy with this. And earlier this week, Caroline Levitt, the press secretary, was asked about subversion and mandatory drafting. And here's what she said.
Mothers out there are worried that we're going to have a draft, that they're going to see their sons get in and daughters get involved in this. What do you want to say about the president's plans for troops on the ground? As you know, it's been largely an air campaign up until now. It has been, and it will continue to be, and President Trump wisely does not remove options off of the table.
To that, Marjorie Taylor Greene says, by the way, a bunch of psycho Republicans want to not only draft your sons, but your daughters too.
Stephen Miller tweet that says, if you want your sons and daughters drafted and put as boots on the ground, go and vote for
Kamala will send your sons to war, he said. Yeah.
Right. If you are going to enter India, and regardless of what they want to call it, we all have leaders, we all have leading population, this is India. If you are going to enter India, if you're going to put American lives at risk, we now know that over 140 have been injured. We know 7 have died. We know there's been innocent civilians, schoolgirls in Iran that have lost their lives. At a cost of $891 million a day, you've got to make the case to the American people. I have actually been surprised, and it's very in response to I have been surprised that there hasn't been a sincere message by everybody. I was surprised that one of the thoughts I have been surprised that there hasn't been was Marco Rubio, who was the one who said that was going to have to be cleaned up. So no, they have not made the case. They keep changing what the objective is. Donald Trump told us the objective was regime change. He brings it forward out there on TV today saying that if there is not regime change, this is not a win. That we did not win. If there is not regime change, that's not win.
Probably not the best thing to go for Republicans right now.
No, but let's just play a little bit of this to judge right now.
We're gonna blow the hell out of these people. We're gonna unleash all the hell on them here. When somebody threatens me and my family multiple times, and over 47 years, tries to hurt me and my family, I'm gonna do something about it. Mr. President, unleash the American military with Israel on Peninsula tonight, finish these bastards off. They have American blood on their hands. I go back to South Carolina, I'm asking them to send their sons and daughters over to the Mideast. What I want you to do in the Mideast, our friends in Saudi Arabia and other places, step forward and say, this is my fight too. I join America.
You may think he's not a good messenger, but Lindsey Graham spends a hell of a lot of time on the phone and in person with Donald Trump, plays golf with him, and he goes on Fox to give him direct messages, speak to camera, and say, Mr. President, do this and that. And
I
then
think
listen to people like Lindsey Graham.
I think he's already facing a lot of backup, especially after the Wall Street Journal report that suggested he was the one to try and put Israel to that persuade Trump. I feel like
Lindsey Graham is still lost every single day. So,
He'll be dead.
and listen, it's so fascinating because back in the day, Trump used to call Lindsey Graham and his work. He used to suggest that it's like Dick Cheney and Lindsey Graham used to call together. He now has Lindsey Graham in his ear every day, and I think that's what some people are worried about is that the mission creep has already begun. Trump has already shifted from saying that he's anti-war to being very interested in doing whatever he seems to do.
One of the reasons he's so angry listening to people like Lindsey Graham, listening to the $1 billion they pull, is that the neocon boomers surrounding Donald Trump are mortgaging my generation's future for another endless, maybe endless, for another very expensive and sensitive war. We tried this in Iraq, tried this in Afghanistan, and left us in trillions and trillions of dollars in debt. We pay $1 trillion per year just on the interest for our debt. This is a massive, and it's going to affect my generations for decades to come. Because the old people really can start wars because the young people don't have the power to stop them. So the old people, they us with the bill. And you know what I don't like the most out of all this is the gaslighting. They say that it's fiscally irresponsible for us to invest in healthcare, for us to invest in home in my generation in the future. The Affordable Care Act subsidy that they were arguing over were $50 billion. $50 billion. I've already asked for $50 billion. So we have one.
From the party that President described, Lindsey Graham, let's do the teaching kind of stuff. Like, I felt was, but the thing he said that you didn't to the statement, that is very accurate, is that you can't allow that continued chance that the American to have signature. You can't allow a regime that routinely and
What if they don't accept the enriched uranium, which it seems like they acknowledge to lawmakers that they won't.
they're acknowledging that number one, the following where he left that the JCPOA way that this country has continuously sought to enrich uranium for weapons purposes over the last 40 years. You cannot let this country exist for 40 years where they continually empower and finance their proxies to attack innocent civilians in the entire region. You cannot let this country have a nuclear war. That is what the war justification for.
They don't actually accomplish that objective, then what's the
That should be the.
that's really where I
agree with you. Their weapons, which bothers me that 8 months ago they named this the 12-day war. Maybe that war was contained in 12 days, but we're like 200 days out. There's still a war going on. So they're just saying the war is over and then changing the guidelines about the goalposts on the justification.
He's talking about the
12-day war. I'm still going.
Yeah. Let's hit pause here because we have more on the other side, more breaking news. Iran is now laying mines in the Strait of Hormuz, significant escalation in this war, despite the administration claiming that the U.S. has wiped them out. Plus, the Republican speaker is refusing to condemn two of his lawmakers who say the Muslims don't belong in American society after they attempted a terror attack in New York City. We'll discuss that next.
The relationship between the FBI director and the president has always been complicated. Steve Duff, the FBI power everywhere on this Sunday, March 27 on CNN.
Machine learning is advancing, but businesses wonder if some machines can keep up.
Let's welcome our new coworker, Jeff.
Copier, that's a great idea.
It's the same idea as yesterday.
It's a performance issue, really.
Yo, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, I hear you.
Okay.
I didn't know I could do this. I'm playing around with something, but I'm playing around with this on time thing, and hold on, let me get to where we gonna be. Yeah, we up.
Okay.
We up, Adam and running. Have you done your links?
Yep.
Links all in. I hope he did see the overlay. It is a little after 10:15, but we was on here. Let y'all know we were on here. And we want to definitely welcome everyone to the No Jazz Show. NOJHOW. Special welcome to all of the new subscribers that joined us since last week on YouTube. Shout out to all of y'all. Shout out to all our new followers on TikTok. Shout out to all our new followers on Instagram and X. This is also where you can follow us, like, comment, share, and subscribe. As well as you can see us live on Facebook and in the locker room on our page, on the No Jazz Show page, and also the No Jazz Show, I call it the Phantom page as well. And also on Huge Electronic Sports, live on Twitch on our handle, live on Riverside.fm. Also my personal page, DUPONTZNENIVEK, as well as I might as well go ahead and introduce him, since I'm going to announce his page that you can find him live on at RUSSELL, Ladies Love Tank. Say hello to these people, Tank.
Greetings, people. Greetings.
Shout out. Let them claps be a little shorter. I may need to go to that. I may need to allow myself to utilize that a little bit more as I adjust my launch pad here a little bit. Let me get this. Yeah. I like the city behind me. You know what I'm saying? I like to get the city behind me. But at any rate, before we all begin, I just want to welcome everyone to this March 10th, 2026 edition of the No Jazz Show. And hopefully you all checked out our last 2 weeks worth of episodes and all of our shorts and all of our videos that we have had in this great collaboration that we've had in the past 2+ seasons. I won't say years, because a year is 365 days in rotation, but it's 2+ seasons going along with this program we call Not Just Another Sports Show, which also stands for No Jazz, as our acronym so affectionately states. And before we begin, we'd always like to give a shout out to our sponsors. That is LYTESNACK, lightsnack.com, for all of your food delivery needs, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And when you're ordering those light snack, ordering that food from Light Snack, make sure you order those Magic City wings. Some of you all may get some of those Magic City wings. Coming up, we're going to speak on that later, just for a brief. Little something. And make sure you all, for all of your hair care needs, make sure you visit Bliss Brazilian. That is Bliss, as in Bliss, BLISS, Brazilian. You can find that on the TikTok shop. And Briss out here, BrissBrazilian.com will be opening up soon. But you can also find that on TikTok shop and any of your local Shopify for all your hair care needs. And when you get your hair done and you find yourself something good to wear, whether it be in the house or just something casual outside, make sure you visit that. Quick Visits, QUIK, not CK, but K. You can see K here if you get it. Anyway, KVISITS.com. That's rolling off the tongue pretty good these days, man. I'm glad I do that.
Got it down.
That's so real. I got it down. But since I got it down and this time starts clicking, because I'm here to tell you, boy, an hour and a half, 2 hours can go by pretty fast. So we're going to get right into it. And I know he told me, he gave me specific instructions. Specific instructions, not Pacific. For all my people down south, Pacific. He gave me specific instructions, but really it's specific instructions to say the free agency talk for last, but we got some late breaking.
Yeah.
Late breaking.
It never
Free agency
stops.
news. Mr. MAXX Crosby and his deal with the Baltimore Ravens has fell through due to what's being reported as of this point as a failed physical. I guess the knee surgery is still pretty new. He says he'll be prepared by the season, but I guess the Baltimore Ravens said we do not want to take that chance. And for the Raiders, because this deal came with a few, like 3 other players, and those they could eventually keep those players if they decide to. It's going to have some effect on the cap.
Yeah.
You know, I'm hearing upwards of 36 million or something like that, some kind of crazy number. So this could affect them. So Tank, you go ahead and talk about this while I chap up.
Yeah, it's kind of
yeah,
it's unusual to have a guy fail a physical, because generally you've checked out, you've done your homework, say, oh yeah, he should pass it. And apparently, he didn't pass their physical. Now it doesn't necessarily mean he won't pass somebody else's physical. But for the Raiders giving up for the Ravens giving up 2 first-round draft picks, I guess they decided, hey, we don't want to take that chance. That's a lot of capital to give up for a guy who, according to our physicians, saying, hey, he's not ready, he can't play right. He couldn't play if the season started. So Max Crosby, I wonder, because he always said, he said it all the time here in the local media, that he wanted to stay a Raider. He wanted to be here to turn this thing around. But I'm sure he was excited or intrigued by the fact that, hey, I go to the Ravens. The offense should be pretty good if Lamar is back up to par, and the defense, should get better. But he'll be under a new coach too, so there's possibly going to be a whole new culture there as well. So what kind of defense are they going to run? What are they going to do offensively? Because the offensive coordinator is gone, the head coach is gone, the defensive coordinator is gone. So how would Crosby actually play into that? They might decide, hey, we're going to run the 3-4 instead of the 4-3. And Crosby is, he's a high effort guy, but he's only 250 something pounds. So he's a little light he's a little light in the butt to be playing in the 3-4.
Hold on before you go there. I want to put a pin in that point, because there are a lot of Cowboys fans that are high on Max Crosby. I'm not particularly high on him, but you just said something about that 3-4, and a variation of that 3-4 is said to the new defensive coordinator for the Cowboys is being said that he's going to run a variation of the 3-4, and I said that as well. I don't think he got enough rocks in his pocket to be trying that 3-4. High motor guy, but I don't know if he got enough rocks in his pocket for that 3-4. Yeah. But go ahead. I just want to point that out to the Cowboys fans who are high on Max Crosby for some odd reason.
Yeah, and because like I said, I don't know what defense they're going to run, but I'm saying if they happen to run the 3-4 or they were running variations of it, how would that work for him? You can't put him at outside linebacker as an edge rusher, because he doesn't have the mobility, as far as if you aren't going to ever have Max Crosby dropping back into coverage or telling him to cover a linebacker in the flats or anything like that. That's just a mismatch. But I mean, it's interesting, but it puts him back into play for the Lions, who need a pass rusher. It also puts him into play for the Seahawks, who would need an edge rusher as well. So, like I said, just because he didn't pass one team's physical doesn't mean he won't pass another team's physical.
But does it put him back into play at the cost?
right, that cost could go down also. And also for the Ravens, maybe this puts a guy who's hoping for 30 to 40 million a year and he hasn't gotten a bite yet. This might put Trey Hendrickson in the mix for the Ravens, who they need a pass, who they want an edge rusher. They could go after Hendrickson. So I mean, it's a domino effect, like you said, for the Raiders, for the Ravens, and for those three players that the Raiders were signing based on the cap money space they were saving for trading Crosby. Now those three deals might be in jeopardy, or else there's going to have to be some creative accounting if they aren't able to move off of Crosby. So, still got time, but it's something that's going to bear, the Bears watching, because man, you really don't expect to have deals announced like that and then have the guy, he didn't pass the physical. I'm sure Crosby was probably shocked too. What you mean I ain't passed the physical? So we're gonna keep an eye on that and see what Crosby ends up, and also see how these other three guys that they were signing based on the strength of him being gone, how that affects them, and also how it affects the market for Hendrickson, as far as if anyone decide if he all of a sudden moves up and doesn't look like the third or fourth prettiest girl in the room, maybe he moves up to being the second prettiest
now. Before we close on this subject, I want to ask you a affinity question. Not personal, but you have a vested interest in this because of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Max Crosby, as of 4 hours ago, was a Baltimore Raven.
Mm-hmm.
And how would you compare the AFC West defensively and offensively to the AFC North, the real black and blue division?
Well, had Crosby made it to the Ravens, you're looking at edge rushers and defensive linemen who can get after the quarterback, which would put them ahead of the AFC West. I mean, you would have had Watt, you would have had
Garrett.
Crosby, you would have had Garrett, and you would have had what's his name in Houston? Not Houston. Well, why am I thinking Houston? No, Cincinnati doesn't have one. So
not with Henderson.
Not with Henderson gone. Yeah.
But you see the caliber of, and what I'm saying is, do you think someone looked at that and said, "No, but we need you out here. Like you can't coast over here in this division, with that knee." Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but we need you over here because this division takes people out. Ask TJ.
Yeah.
TJ been productive, but it'll take you down. That is not.
Yeah,
that
I
is
think
not
that
a lightweight division to be playing with when somebody coming over to you with the possibility of being brittle. I'm just saying, how do you feel about what they may have been thinking when they said?
I think the only person who's probably thinking about that and who is affecting the most was Joe Burrow. He's like, man, I got Watt twice a year. I got Garrett, Myles Garrett twice a year. Now, if I have Crosby twice a year, I think that right there would have affected everything, because everybody else, I mean, there's 6 games where he's got a top pass rusher coming after him. Now, if he does make it to the West, if he had left the West, that would have put the West at a real disadvantage as far as just defensively, as far as pass rushers go.
But you don't think y'all linemen beat up on people?
Yeah, I think so.
The physicality of the AFC North on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, Yeah, I think that would have been something he would have had to adapt to. Because like I said, the AFC West is more pass happy. In AFC North, they still, particularly the Ravens and the Steelers, they still try to play physical. And I think also the Browns do also. The Browns play physical.
Right.
And Cincinnati is trying to get that mode as well. So yeah, I think that him not coming there could help him physically because he's already familiar with what's going on in the AFC West anyway.
Right. All right. Well, and still he would still been in the AFC. Now I just want to ask you that, coming from a Pittsburgh Steelers AFC North fan, aficionado per se. So moving right along. We're gonna jump into this news about the NIL. We're gonna jump to college, and this is actually collegiate sports all over, but it's probably the main one, of course, with the largest share of NIL distribution, the football department, and the government is having proceedings in regards to I don't know if it's putting a cap or finding a new way to restructure how the NIL is distributed in college football. What do you think about the United States government's involvement in this process?
First and foremost, I don't think the government has any business getting involved in athletics. Secondly, Trump can sign all of the executive orders he wants, but those things are not law. They only apply to federal regulations. The NCAA is not under the federal guidelines other than labor. So he really can't do anything. But he, Nick Saban, Charlie Ward, Tommy Tuberville, and a few others are Urban Myers. I heard someone call him heard someone call him Urban Liar. Don't want it to. They all are in cahoots to try to go back to pre-NIL, meaning there's no NIL money, there's no pay, and I think that's ridiculous. They need to figure out a way to make this. You alluded to a cap. There is a cap as far as how much a university is allowed to pay players
individually, right?
All together overall, each school that abided by the law, by the NIL agreement has a cap.
This is the NCAA regulation.
Yeah, has a cap of $20.8 million to spend amongst all of their athletes across all sports. So you have women's softball, some of them get money. You have volleyball, some of them get money. Of course, the majority of the money goes to football and men's basketball. But every sport, even archery, they are
a part of that cap.
A part of that, and they can get NIL. So you gotta, if your child is a great archer, he can get some NIL money from the school. It's a level playing field as far as how much money each school can pay their players. They have a cap of $20.8 million, and it goes to everybody. They can all do it. Now, the majority of the money goes to certain players, but I don't think the government has any right or any business in that. We got a whole bunch of other stuff going on, but I don't think that you can go back to pre-NIL because the toothpaste is already out the tube. So they need to scrap that. And if we go back to pre-NIL, it was a wild west. People were getting paid anyway. You just didn't know about it. Now the boosters came up with their little thing to circumvent
name, image, and likeness.
Yeah, they came up with that NIL, but specifically hey, we're gonna pay you X amount for this, even though they might never be using your name, image, or likeness, but we're gonna pay you X amount to come and play for my school. What they need to do is make these contracts for these players. That's what they are, contracts. These scholarships, they need to make them, hey, you got to stick it out. If you sign and say you're going to come here, we're going to go ahead and make these 2 years instead of 1 year at a time. We're going to make it 2 years at a time, or the whole 4. You sign this contract to come here and play. And this is what you're getting paid, instead of basically sticking up coaches and sticking up the school. Hey, Oklahoma's offering me this much, so I'm gonna leave Georgia. So you're leaving just because they're paying you more, and you're because the way they're doing this, you're no longer an amateur. You're a professional who happens to be in class. Really. But yeah, I don't think the government needs to be involved in that. But we've talked about before that they do need to figure out a way, a hard line rule to get rid of the transfer portal, except in key certain instances. And if you're making a certain amount of money, you're one of those athletes who get paid, but you decide you want to go into the portal because you want to go to another school that's paying you more. I don't think they should let them do it, because you aren't going because you feel as though you're a better fit at this school. You're going strictly for the money. And I don't think NIL and paying these players was well thought out at all. And that's why we're seeing this now. And you can't go back to the way it was, because once you tell somebody, hey, you're free to do whatever, it's hard to tell them, okay, you're no longer free to do this. I don't know of anybody who's ever turned down freedom of choice. That just goes against our nature, man. You can do whatever you want. No, I don't want to do that. I want somebody to make sure that I just do this. So it's a mess, and it's gonna stay a mess until they put their heads together and they say, look, we're gonna work this out, and realize that it's gonna probably take 2 or 3 years to come up with a good, solid plan that's gonna work for all parties. Because what you're really looking at is management and labor. The players are the labor, and the schools and those boosters are the management. And you got to come together to some kind of agreement on both sides and say this is going to work best for both of us. Basically, you need a CBA, is what you really need.
You call them professionals. You call them professionals. I guess in that aspect, they are. My question is, how professional are they when they're kids with millions? And that might be the regulatory aspect too. Because you're now looking at a kid that's making millions, and I'm just asking if this is this a reason, an outlier to attempt to regulate the way in which they distribute the funds, and the way in which they negotiate, these kids. Because one thing about the old way, and I'm not saying go back to the old way, but one thing about the old way wasn't public information, and it didn't allow a lot of the sharks that are coming after these kids. They were there pre and post, but it didn't allow a lot of the sharks that are coming after these kids to come after these kids in the manner in which they do so. And also, we don't know the magnitude of the regulation, because the regulation still also might be, just as you said, contractual, and that contract is fulfilling only 4 years, where we don't have this expanded. I don't know how that's the government's issue. However, maybe the government feels like the NCAA does not have a regulatory department that understands how to manage the situation. And maybe that's the police of the situation. Hey, hey guys, you're managing this whole thing wrong. and you're stepping into a lot of situations that could end up eventually in civil court, which could end up in state court, which could end up being some possible, and I'm just talking down the line, Supreme Court, if they're willing to step their foot in there and get it, because a lot of these contracts and these negotiations have probably some red tape in there. You're doing deals with kids, you're doing deals with parents, you're signing under duress for whatever reasons. And then you have these corporate entities that are involving themselves in it, corporate entities being these schools, because they do outside of sports, academically, schools do make money. So and generate revenue through academics. Was academia the right word? Nevertheless, so I guess I'm looking at the governmental involvement more. Are you guys going to put a regulatory system in place before this gets out of hand and it starts becoming a government issue? Or are you going to just look at us like, oh, all we do is dip our hand in there and we govern things that we're not supposed to govern? So a form of socialism to a degree, and not allow these people to govern their own NCAA sports NIL program, because it looks like they don't understand the magnitude of why we never gave these kids money in the first place. Because NIL has been going on 4 years now, something like that.
I think it's the third year.
It's the third year.
I think it's the third year.
And they're already manipulating the system. And no one would disagree with that.
Yeah. My issue, one, with the government getting into it, is particularly this person that we have who is supposed to be the.
So hold on. That's your real issue.
It's not that. It's the government.
Yeah, I just want to make sure. I just want to make sure if another person wasn't in office, you wouldn't be.
I would still be against it. But But him makes it even worse, because we know his history and his track record is stepping into everything and ruining it. And that's what he would do if he was to get his way to dip his foot into this. We already saw we saw him ruin the USFL prematurely. It was going to flop eventually, but he got it taken out.
The NFL didn't like didn't like where the USFL was going, and they had their hand in that too. So the man was just on, but they didn't get anything. He ruined the lawsuit. Yeah, I'll say that.
Yeah,
but I won't say that.
Well, the fact that he was also trying to strong arm his way of getting his team into the NFL because he wanted to be an NFL owner.
See, you really want to pull Al Davis.
Yeah, so you can't do that. But it's not the government's job to start stepping in, because if that's the case, because they're trickling down NIL to these high school players. Okay, is the government going to step in and start regulating what high school players are getting? You can't do that. You just can't have the government involved in every single thing. Let these independent schools and let the NCAA work out this issue amongst themselves and the players. And they need to that's what they need to do, as opposed to the government sticking its nose in, because why? That's not even their job. The last time that the government, the federal government, the executive branch, stuck its nose in sports, in football, college football at that, was Franklin Delano Roosevelt. It was Teddy, who it might have been Teddy. It was one of the Roosevelts who said that whoever was first, let's put it that way, he stepped in because he loved football, but there were too many players getting hurt, getting killed dying on the field because of the rules and this, that, and the other. And he told them, hey, we don't want this game to get any more dangerous and more people getting killed. So y'all need to figure out a way to make this game safer. That was the last time. That kind of overreach, I don't have an issue with. But coming in telling them, hey, you need to go back to your old system and this, that, and other.
Hold on. Franklin Delano Roosevelt was a what?
President.
He was a Democrat, and I think that's why you didn't have a problem with him doing it.
No.
Hold on now. You got
this is a safety thing. Though.
I'm just saying you got to look at. Hey, you got to look.
And I said it was the
last
last
time. Overreach. You got to watch.
I said it was the last time.
I'm gonna catch you.
I also said it was the last time that they had that
actually,
kind of
actually the last time. To be honest with you, it was probably 2 times. Was the CTE issue going to the federal government? With the NFL, and also the last time was, of course, what everyone knows is the is after 9/11, and the NFL began pushing, even though they did the national anthem prior to that, they really started pushing this glorification of America, and then you eventually saw how that turned out with a knee. So you know,
but as far as sticking the nose into the actual runnings and trying to get into what's happening on the field, it was that, and that was a safety issue. But not someone saying, "Hey, you need to change your whole program or what you're doing and take it back the way it used to be." I don't think the government has any business doing that. Now, if they were to come to the government and say, "Look, we've tried this, that, and the other. Can you all chop this baby in half and let us, and so we can get this thing figured out?"
Is NIL money taxable?
Yeah.
Taxable by who?
They have to pay taxes because they,
who do they pay taxes to?
The government. It depends, but it also depends. Well, it also depends.
I'm just asking, is that a government issue?
Depending on the state, because every state
so
doesn't have
you can
literally
every
state doesn't have state income tax.
You can work around a lot of this stuff. You can work around I don't know if it's federal or state, and it might be state, the legal working age. If it trickles down into high school. So all I'm saying is, like, the government involvement, is it they're doing too much now, or they're doing too much to make sure it doesn't get out of hand?
They're doing too much now.
Because of who's doing it?
No, because it has nothing to do with you all. About the money that these
at this point in time. So you rather it get out of hand first.
Yeah, it needs to do something. Let them work this out, because you basically like, well, people staying in school too long because they're making too much money. They're doing let the NCAA work that out. They've done that all along. Let them work it out.
It's funny. The people that they had up there, the people that they had up there probably wouldn't survive
today
in NIL now too. So
right.
so I mean, it's just propaganda.
Yeah,
it's just propaganda at this point. I don't think the point of it was government interaction just yet. I think it was a alert for the most part. Just me personally. I just think it was an alert. Let's look at what's going on, and we're gonna get this to the highest level to say, hey, before we decide to let them get involved, we don't want them to get involved. Let's just show them a possibility of what they don't want, and that's why they did what they did. I mean, that's just where I think it is right now. I don't think they necessarily got involved with that little meeting that they had, because they're not even meeting with the main officials, and the main officials are the NCAA and the conferences themselves. Now, when you see that, Nick Saban, Urban Meyer, they're nobody.
Yeah, I just don't. But the fact that he said, "Okay, I'm finna sign this executive order to tell them to go back the way they used to be." Give me a
I mean,
break.
and
give me a damn break. Yeah.
It don't work that way. Now, all right, I'll move on to let's move on to boxing. And before I get to boxing to this degree, I want to point out something. Our girl, because this is really women's boxing. We've talked about the men's exhibition boxing, but our girl Carissa Shields says she wants to fight Rollo. She wants to have her a Billie Jean King situation with Rollo. I think that's his name. And she says she's calling him out, and she says she can beat him. What do you think about that?
How much does Rollo weigh?
Rollo fought. Let me see. Rollo fought in the that division.
What weight class? What weight class is this? And also, I just don't think that it's a good idea for. It's just not a good idea. It's going to be the same thing with Billie Jean King. You can a very skilled, world class
lightweight,
boxer.
light welterweight. That's 170 pounds, 5'7", and we're talking about Mr. Rolando Romero. That's what they call Rollo.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
You remember Billie Jean King?
Watch what you say now.
I ain't watching nothing. You remember Billie Jean King played what's his name? And she was an outstanding women's tennis player. And you saw she lost. Remember?
The first one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Generally, if you get a world-class athlete, female athlete, to go against a world-class
male
athlete, she's gonna lose. That's just physics. That's just biology. And there's nothing wrong with that. That doesn't lessen her ability. But to get in and think that you're gonna get in there and beat a guy who's as trained and as skilled or more trained and more skilled than you, it's just crazy. Because thing about it is, there's nothing that he has to gain from fighting her and beating her.
Except for what we talk about, the exhibition of it.
Yeah. If he loses, she does all that. He lose. You lost to a woman. You did. I mean, it's not. And it was a fight. It's not. Oh, she beat you in chess. You know.
I don't even think chess masters. I don't even think male chess masters get beat by women chess masters. But that's another. And that's a mental thing. But that's another subject. But go ahead.
Yeah. So I don't think it's a good idea, and I hope that he says no, and he can say whatever he wants to say why he's not doing it, but he shouldn't do it, because if he gets in there, especially if they're not wearing headgear, and she's never had a face gashed open.
I think she's sparred with men, which is good.
Yeah, and in headgear,
right?
And they aren't trying to hurt her, because everyone knows if you're sparring with someone, if you're getting the best of them, they either tell you, hey, you need to tone it down, or they get rid of you, because you're in there basically to help them sharpen their skills. Now you getting better and beat on. That's why you very seldom hear about a guy who knocked the champ down in sparring, or a guy who was getting the better of the champ in sparring. You don't hear about that until maybe later on when that person becomes a champ himself. Because he gets in there and he gashes her head open and spits her eye because they don't have on headgear. Oh, now he's the bad guy, and now that's just not good.
If he loses, he loses. If he wins, he loses, because it's gonna look like why is he beating up on her?
Yeah.
If that's the case.
Right.
And I understand Clarissa, just like anyone, you're supposed to tell yourself you're the best in that field. I've heard some WNBA players, and we're not getting into that, but I've heard some WNBA players say they wouldn't put themselves like, who's your top 5, and then they may play point guard. They go put themselves at the point shooting guard. I'm all for that. Have that confidence. Keep that. but you got to know who you're in front of
Right.
when you're saying that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Because even the street ballers were saying that to the NBA players, and just like the boy said, we had hot sauce out there looking like ketchup. So we gotta be mindful of the level in which we are making these challenges. Now I will say this, exhibition wise, probably would be to the magnitude of Billie Jean King and Bobby Riggs, but contextually, he asked Chris Evert Lloyd first, in his prime, and her camp was smart enough to back off that because he was still in physical enough condition to possibly, and we're not saying this is the reason, this is on the table. He was still in physical enough condition to possibly beat her and diminish the outlook of women's tennis that was already, you know, losing to what men's tennis was, and probably didn't catch up until the Williams sisters got involved. You know what I'm saying?
You saw neither one of them has ever said, yeah, I'll play. I would like to.
I'm the number one ranked. I'll beat the 200 ranked guy. You know. So
and they acknowledge and know where they are on the food chain as far as overall tennis players, and not just in their gender.
Do you think he'll win?
Yeah.
Do you think he'll win decisively?
If they don't have headgear on, he's not holding back. Yeah, I think he will whoop her ass.
Damn. Then we need to get the government involved.
I mean, it's crazy, man. It's crazy talk. That's just like her. It's just like her saying, "Hey, well, I want to." In his prime, Clarissa saying, "Hey, I want to fight Sugar Ray."
I think.
Yeah, like her saying, "Hey, I want to fight Sugar Ray Leonard." No, you don't, because you're gonna die. And he's not on that caliber, but still.
Isn't biologically the female skull and different body parts just naturally smaller than a man and all that good stuff?
Yeah, including the muscle mass. And you that's why when you see, no, it's not a good idea. Because, and I would tell him, if I was in his corner and we were acting, if this fight actually came off, I would tell him, hey, you need to go out there and fight her just like you would any man. You need to chop her down.
Now, before we get into part 2 of this whole situation, I just want to make sure you all join us on Facebook Live on my page, DUPONTZNIVEK, on Russell Tanker's page, RUSSELLTANKER, live in the locker room, live on Facebook locker room, live on Twitch, live on Riverside.fm, live on TikTok, also live on our own link on the No Jazz Show page. And make sure you join the No Jazz Show group, NOJASSSHOW. Please make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share. Please make sure you do that. Now, the second part of this point, and why I brought it up, I just brought that up because I saw that my little explorer sent me to that when we were talking about Egypt crisis. Everyone knows her.
Crisis.
Everyone knows her as the daughter of hip-hop legends, both of them. Pepper from Salt-N-Pepa and Treach. I'm not gonna give out their government names. But
one thing, but before you go, is Treach really a legend? Really, does he? I mean, is he listed anywhere?
I won't say Treach top 10, but legendary. Tupac right hand man. Get down with OPP. Effectively, and no, not too many people do this. I'm gonna get this to Not About Nature and I forgot the producer name, but it's 3 of them. I have to give it to Not About Nature, but we talking Treach. Effectively, and this is everybody don't do this well, effectively pulled off a Michael Jackson or Jackson 5, and we're gonna bring them up later, sample, transition over into film. You can put his name in some, you can etch his name as he's appeared in some nice hood classics. Had a clothing line. He didn't go all the way to the billionaire of hip hop status, and a lot of them don't. But Tretch, I mean, he's actually in what? At least 2 hood classics. That you got Juice appearance, Jason's lyric.
You said Juice.
Yeah, he did. He was in. I mean, not Juice. Yeah, Juice. He was in Juice.
Who was in Juice? The extra standing in the crowd.
Hey, he was Rodamez. Everybody knew it was Tretch. He was Rodamez. Let me tell you something about that before we go too far. He was in Rodamez's gang, and they used his face in the trailers because that was before we knew everybody. We only really.
I gotta go back. I gotta go back and look at that again. I don't recall ever seeing.
They used his name in it. They used his image in the trailers to get us young kids in the 90s to be like, oh, Tretch in this movie, you know. And I mean, I can't take away from how we open this up. We're talking about Tretch being a legend.
Yeah.
Probably one of the first, if not the first. I don't know who the first was, but I know they were one of the first hip hop couples like we fell in love with. So I mean, from a hip hop standpoint, I'm gonna give Tretch his legendary props. I gotta give Tretch his props. I can't say he's not.
I wouldn't say legend. I have to leave off some. I'd probably say.
I mean, I don't think he's gonna be on nobody Mount Rushmore, but I mean,
I would say he's a le. I would just say he's a le. He ain't got the gin.
Oh, he ain't got the gin? Oh man, you ain't give him the gin?
Yeah,
I mean,
a
lot of speed rap. He can speed rap with a lot of people. He made holding a bat and a chain iconic. He was kind of street before. I don't know, man. I guess you're not down with OPP.
Not to that extent. But and one more thing, then you go.
Did a video with Spike Lee. I mean,
OPP, Michael Jackson actually liked that song. He's saying that he liked the song. He gave the song his blessing. He liked the song. Tretch it said he was with him one time. He was playing it. And he was singing it, and he liked it. So hey, but go ahead.
Okay. His daughter, for whom he stepped up to as a father and had a little something to say to her, I guess, boyfriend, husband, whoever he is. I'm sorry if I get it wrong. She lost to an Olympic. Is she a champion? Yeah, that girl was an Olympic champion.
Two-time gold medalist.
Two-time gold medalist. What was her name? Jade Jones. Mm-hmm. See, first of all, let me tell you something. Caution to the wind should have told him. Be mindful when you step into a ring with anybody with the last name Jones. You got Roy Jones, you got Bones Jones. You can't be like right there. Go look at the video a little bit more before you step in. Possibility she could have got a clean one in and knocked this young lady out. Didn't happen that way. But from what we're seeing, she may need to rethink
rapping.
I think she got the rap genes. She might have the rap genes. You know. I don't. Why was she like? Did she train?
They need the money because her husband is a boxer. But it's not like he's making any money doing it. So they needed the money, and he put her in there. And I can't say that she trained or didn't train. I hadn't seen anything about saying But
Something
just from the
she
looks of
like
it,
does she is she in the gym with her husband? Oh, maybe you got some hands.
yeah, she looks a lot different now. She used to look. She
Okay.
was a pretty feminine girl. Now she look. You saw she looks a whole lot different than she did before she got.
She looked hard.
Yeah.
Like she on a regimen. Okay.
Yeah. No, and not hard as in, oh man, she in the gym. She look hard like dang. She looking like I was prom queen of Vanity High. She looked bad. Not that she's on something, but she just looked bad, like she ain't been keeping herself up. And I'm not gonna say that she didn't train. I'm not gonna say she did train, but I will say this: for those 10 seconds, she didn't know what the hell was going on. Cause I mean, whap, and when like Big John, like that,
and they
like,
want them train.
Yeah. That last punch that girl threw, you heard it, man. It was like God dang, she might have broke her dang skull. I mean, this
is what
she
all
was out
want too, to be in there with a civilian.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah. I mean, she was out.
She hit it with a Mitch Blood Green. She hit it with that Mitch Blood Green. Ooh. I didn't see it. I mean, I just saw
if you saw the video, that was the fight. That's not a
that was what? Yeah, that wasn't just the knockout.
No, that was the fight. That's why I said I'm not going to say she did or didn't or has or hasn't trained, because it wasn't long enough to show you anything other than she knew how to put the gloves on. I mean, it was night.
So you trying to tell me it took her longer to put the gloves on than it did, child?
Her falling to the canvas took longer than the actual fight. I mean, she knocked her out. As soon as that punch landed, she was asleep and she hit the ground. And I'll never forget when Weaver beat Big John Tate. This was back in like 80. And Big John Tate, that's the first time I can remember ever seeing it. He fell face forward, fell on his face. And they said this: when a man, and in this case, I'll paraphrase, when a woman falls on her face, she ain't getting up. You saw she was doing this like dang Apollo. She was doing that with like when Apollo Creed got knocked out by Drago, got killed by Drago. She was doing this. They had to call the. I don't know. We ain't seen nothing. I know Tretch wasn't happy about the situation, but yeah, man, she looked like Apollo Creed when he got hit by Drago.
When she woke up, do you think he called her and sung "Everything's Gonna Be All Right"? I'm just asking.
Man, she probably just glad to wake up. She probably woke up thinking. She probably woke up thinking, okay, I gotta get ready for my fight. When is the fight? Is it in the 2 weeks? I gotta start training.
See, that's the thing. See, going back to Rollo.
Yeah.
Who is that? And I've heard several athletes say this. I'm not gonna switch sports, but when you get popped with a certain amount of weight or a certain amount of training,
yeah, it hurt.
It hurt, and even Bo Jackson said that man hit me square up. I thought I was good, and then the dude told me your sideline or whatever, bro.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So you got to be mindful. Now, remaining with boxing, we have now you mentioned the money. I don't think Le'Veon Bell is out of money, but he did call out Jake Paul. And I know Le'Veon Bell riding high.
Was it Logan Paul?
Oh, Logan Paul. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, Logan.
No, not Logan Paul.
Yeah.
I get them confused.
Yeah,
and,
same difference.
I know, right? He called out Logan Paul, and Le'Veon got a nice little punch from what we seen, from what he did to AD. Called him. Fair and square. You think See, I don't watch Logan Paul or Jake Paul fight that much, or even Le'Veon for that matter. But do you think that's justifiable?
If Logan Paul actually gets in the ring with Le'Veon's gonna hurt him because he does have actual boxing skills. And he does train. Yeah, and he trains. This isn't a street fight. He trains. He still actively trains. Like Sean Merriman actively trains to do MMA.
Yeah.
You know, it's not somebody, you know, it's not just
I'm not
I put the
because I think I'm tough.
Yeah. And he said, because Paul said that he could beat any player, because Paul was talking about fighting, saying he could beat Tom Brady.
Oh, you know what? So all of that came off that couch.
Mm-hmm.
And Tom, you know what? Shout out to Tom Brady. Shout out to Tom Brady for defending the honor of football. Because I saw that.
Mm-hmm.
And Tom got a little competitive angst about him when he was talking all that. No, he was being politically diplomatic, but he was like, calm down, son.
Yeah, you know, you don't want this. You don't want none of this.
Yeah, because it was like Logan was. Well, I thought that was Jake said this, but that was Logan.
Yeah.
So Logan was saying that he could step on the football field.
Yeah, because he talking about I rushed for 1,200 yards as a senior and I played linebacker, and Tom was like, yeah. Okay, come on out there.
I bet we go to high school, we find out it's 2A or 3A.
Yeah, but I think that Le'Veon, I like that Le'Veon said, hey, I got $1 million. I put it up. Let's do it. He said, and Le'Veon's only thing was, hey, we can do it. We can do it in exhibition style. He said, but the only thing is, we're gonna make sure it's recorded because people gonna see me mop you up. And next thing you know, supposedly WWE is saying, hey, Jake, you can't do this. Logan, you can't do this because it violates your contract or whatever, you know. Okay. Basically they wrote up something saying, hey man, you know, you under contract with us. We can't have you out there. We can't have Thunder Lips whooping your ass.
They had it with one of them over-the-counter contracts.
Yeah.
Just popped out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I mean, it's justifiable. Plus, even if it is real, of course they're gonna look into the contract because if they're not making any money off of it, why do it?
Yeah.
Why we signed you?
Mm-hmm.
Understood. So, all right. We should have talked about this in the NIL question. Who's been in the WNBA for 3 years now?
Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark.
So the producer's question was, why haven't we heard about women's NCAA basketball coming up on March? We're in March and March Madness the way we did 3 years ago. What is going on with women's basketball, women's college basketball, Tank?
They don't have it. Apparently, they don't have any stars who captivate not just the sport of women's basketball, but also captivate people who watch basketball, period. Because I haven't heard anything about women's basketball in in 2 years.
Outside of the WNBA.
Yeah.
Okay.
Outside WNBA. And the only other thing I heard is whatever that league is that they were doing the past couple of weeks. I don't know what it is. They actually get money for it, but it was, I forgot what kind of league, what the league is called. But yeah, women's college basketball, not saying that it's not good or not competitive, but it doesn't have America by the throat like it did 3 years ago. They don't have any.
Go ahead.
It's like they have no star power. I don't even keep up with women's basketball in college basketball.
I didn't keep up with women's basketball, but I was hearing about.
But you do those names.
Juju. What happened to Juju?
Juju. She got hurt last year. She tore her knee up. So I guess she's not playing. But everybody knew Reese and Clark.
Well, you know, they
And-
had a
Yeah.
storyline.
Yeah, but they had
Everyone knew. Also, everyone knew South Carolina.
Yeah. But you knew, but now what? It was like, dang, man. What happened?
LSU.
Yeah. It's like, but what happened? It's like, what happened? Why aren't they don't have apparently they don't have any captivating stars to make it must-see TV. I mean, Juju was supposed to be next up. You know, she tore her knee up, and
I
her
really thought she
last
was.
thing you would remember about her was, hey, you know, her and Jalen, I almost said it, the Commanders quarterback dating. You know, that's the last we heard about Juju. So yeah, I just don't think they haven't been able to. They didn't capitalize on what they had.
They didn't reach back into that basket once.
Yeah.
They let the WNBA take their stars, which they were eventually going to do, and they didn't reach back into that basket.
And they didn't manufacture anything, and or no player stepped up to be dominant and be able to capture the imagination of everybody.
It usually takes about 2 years, and this is NBA doing the template. Like, okay, let's just say, for instance, by the time and men's basketball is a totally different monster. So I'm trying not to be parallel, but I'm just talking about if you're going to use a template, and we're going to use, and it's like they use the same template the NCAA used when they were trying to get NCAA basketball at a high level. So if Magic and Bird create what they created in '79, and that's what Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark sort of did with that plot line. By 1981, Isaiah in Indiana started grabbing us. By 1982, I ain't gonna say you created him, but you know, it happens with Jordan. Georgetown begins to surface. North Carolina, all that
you
stuff.
got Olajuwon and Ewing.
You got Olajuwon and Ewing, you know, you got to give them the names. Five Slammer Jammer. Shout out to Clyde. You know, all of that's going on. Ralph Sampson, Lynn. So, and then after that, probably when Georgetown gets the championship, 85, they stay in the Big East and start feeding us a whole lot of Syracuse. You know,
and women's basketball hasn't done it.
Well,
not since.
I mean, what happened? What happened to what UConn and Tennessee did as teams?
Yeah, but who is the draw?
Forgot about that. They went to individual.
Yeah, who's the draw now? You don't have you got
to go undefeated to be a draw.
You either got to have a team or teams that are dominant or they draw people's attention, or you got to have individual stars that become must-see TV, whether they be the heroines or the villains. They don't have any of that. There's a reason why I knew about Reese and Clark. I don't know anybody since then. And granted, I'm talking from someone who doesn't watch, but I knew those names, and I know those names.
I got a question. Why didn't Stephen A. Smith pump that up? It's not like he has NBA.
Don't get me started on Stephen. Jeez. I'm not going to go there because.
Oh Lord, I forgot.
But yeah,
I just be playing with Tank. I know how he is. I just be putting him. You know. But at any rate, we're gonna stick with women's sports again, and I hope it's not But it's gonna get a little. Trust me. The temperature rising. And then we got the story of. We got two sports. Cause we're gonna stick with the Aisha Diaz situation coming behind this, but we have a story that Rickea Jackson called 911. If you don't know who Rickea Jackson is, she is a WNBA player who was dating James Pierce, the guy for a few weeks ago who the Atlanta Falcons player a few weeks ago who was involved in the police incident, crashed his Lamborghini after a domestic incident with his girlfriend, professional basketball player and college sweetheart Rickea Jackson. Not to bring bring their name up in bad incidents, but it has been found out that Rickea Jackson called 911 on James Pierce 7 times. Do you believe that was excessive, or that was I'm gonna let you hold on? Was that 7 times as a professional athlete?
7 times since last year. They've been broken up since September.
There it is. Because I know if they were regular people, it don't get past 2 before somebody getting the clean. They start regulating that in the early 2000s, late 90s with all that 911 on the same domestic. No. So they had to be giving my boy some level of leeway.
They had a stay away order. There was stalking, there was burglary, there was alleged burglary, there was vandalism, and some other things. So I mean, if they're calling you that often because you're doing this, that's only making things worse for him when he finally does go to court. I mean, even his father called her and told her that, hey, James on one. You need to watch yourself.
And you know what? I'm all for that, because I believe her father was like in the way, out of the way. Like I gotta give, because kids don't listen. But you don't want your kids to get hurt.
Right.
Then her father is a generation, he's probably gonna do anything for his daughter. But what position did James Pierce play?
Linebacker.
Yeah, see, I can't be running up on every linebacker from a child. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it's not fight or flight. And anybody in the chat, oh, you'll go. No, you won't. No, you shouldn't. No, you shouldn't.
Yeah, that's not good.
Don't be running up on one. He's psycho to a degree, and he one of them athletes that got that switch. Mm-hmm. I'm an elder statesman. I don't I don't want to be putting harm's way for that. So, man,
yeah,
I hate that evidence against my boy.
Yeah, he gonna be gone for a minute. We're gonna be talking about him and possibly in a couple of years, saying, "Hey, you think he deserves another chance?" Like Denver Rose was getting another chance. He might be in one. We might be having that conversation in a couple in some years about him.
Boy, you don't want JP to stand for just prison.
Exactly.
Or just probation. Or just parole. I don't like it. I don't like it for him. And another thing I don't like is the information that I got coming out of Frisco, Texas. And it's titled, Dak Prescott Remains Ringless. Unintended. seems that Dak Prescott, it's all over the news, and his fiance have called it quits after 2 babies. I don't even want to say the years. After 2 babies. The years of dating someone don't get you no money.
But them 2 babies will.
Them 2 babies will. After 2 children. And no, we're not talking about this man's kids. I'm just saying. They have called it quits, and there have been rumors that she did not want to sign a prenuptial agreement.
That's something that should have been handled.
I don't think she wanted to sign a variation of a prenuptial agreement. I think she wanted to sign it, but it was something in the print that she wasn't going for.
Yeah. I need more. I need more than just getting child support if things don't work out. I need something that's gonna keep me. What he said, keep me. What he said in Love and Basketball. I need something that's gonna keep me in Gucci and gold for a while.
And Gucci and gold for a while. You know, there were the allegations of the whole I guess bachelorette party situation, but I'm not gonna go there. I did see that storyline but I just feel like for No Jazz, the signing a prenup, not signing a prenup is enough news. You know, I'll let you all take the other part. You know, but like I said before, if that part is true, I hope he takes it out on the Bears when we meet this season. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, my thing is, and maybe I'm old fashioned, maybe I don't know. My thing is, I wish these players, these entertainers, and basically everybody, I wish folks would stop having babies and then having multiple babies with people and not being married, because all it does is make things even messier when it doesn't work out. Marriage is not guaranteed that it's going to work, but at least do some things in order. Yeah.
Shout out to Stack who didn't he didn't go through with his wedding without signing that prenup. And I'm not sure if they had any kids, but he don't talk like they did.
Yeah.
He kind of talked like that was it. So if I'm wrong, I'm sorry, sir. But he don't talk like they had kids. But you're right. You gotta. It's like she was banking, man. Like that's the way it looks, and she might be innocent. That might not have even been her intent.
But that's the end result right now.
That's the end result right now.
Unless he says, "Hey, I'm gonna fight to have primary custody, joint custody," but if he's a non-custodial parent, he's gonna be paying child support.
Non-custodial parent, especially with 2 kids, 2 or more. Yeah.
If he's a custodial parent, he doesn't have to worry about child support. But if he winds up paying child support, the kids are 2 and 1, like 2 years different. So you're looking at not 18 years, you're looking at 20 years that you're gonna be paying.
20 years. And it could adjust because she's gonna send them kids to the best school.
Yeah. And the only thing that might save him, I know in Dallas, in Texas, they cap child support, as far as amount for what people can pay. I forgot who it was, one of the athletes. I can't remember who it was, but the lady thought she was going to be getting 6 figures or more, and the judge said no, $5,000 is enough to take care of what you need to take care of for a child. $60,000 a year, tax free, coming straight to take care of the child. So if they haven't changed that, he might be all right, but there's a possibility and they'll depend, but you never know. But yeah, I just wish that these guys would be thinking a little more, because
hold on. Let me tell y'all something about Tank. He be dropping these little punchlines and be acting like people don't hear it.
What?
We talking about babies, and we know how you get babies. You don't strap up. And then he says this little dry joke. but it's like dry humor, not dry joke. Dry humor. They need to think a little more. You know what they thinking with.
Yeah, man.
You know
don't make sense,
damn
man.
well what they thinking with.
Yeah, man. You can't be procreating with everybody. And
Oh,
they're
man.
you're both equally responsible. So I'm not saying it's one person's responsibility, but
Absolutely.
man, but if you got that kind of fortune to lose or to put in jeopardy, you need to go ahead and say, hey, you need to do like Q did in Love and Basketball before him and Sinai got down. He reached over and remembered what his mama told him, and he grabbed that condom and
Hold
put
on,
it
hold on,
on.
hold on. We might need to go look at our black films again, because did his mama tell him that or his daddy?
His
'Cause it
mama
seems
told
like
him about his mama told
his
him,
mama told
yeah,
him how she was.
yeah, and his mama told him, hey, you need these girls just trying to get you caught
The
up.
girl
They
trying to
see
get you
you
caught up.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
'Cause-
So
And
he
she
was
knew.
mindful.
And
Yeah.
she knew. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to his mama, who also ended up being Tasha Mama on Power and remained the gold digger. Hey, to the little dude that does the little shorts about I found out a secret. Go do that one.
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah,
go do that
I
one.
like
Yeah,
that.
do that one. And she kept the same character. Most
Yep.
definitely kept the same character. Now, before we go on anymore, because we got a theme of breakups going on, I just want to make sure everyone is watching us live on Facebook, live on Twitch, live on TikTok, live on my personal Facebook page, DUPONTZNIVEK, on Russell Tanker's personal page, RUSSELLTANKER. We are also live in the locker room. We are also live on Huge Electronics Store. We are also live on our No Jazz Phantom page. We are also live on the link on our NOJASSSHOW page. Make sure you follow us on that page, join the page, and post on that page too. We love to hear your stuff, because a lot of times we may use your material for our content that we put on here. And when you do that, to all of that we have asked you to do, also you can follow us on Instagram at NOJASSHOW and email us anything that you would like us to talk about on the show at NOJASSHOW at Gmail. Boy, there's a lot of S's. At gmail.com. And make sure when you do all of that, make sure you hit that like button, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe, and make sure you share. Now, speaking of sharing, we saw a video of Dwight Howard's estranged wife, Amy. It didn't look that bag she had looked like she didn't look like she was sharing at all.
Yeah, man.
Talking about the whites. I thought the video was so interesting. First, you're just implicating yourself. You're talking about his habit, but you got it all. Like, you literally, like, you didn't have to pour it in your hand. You didn't have to wipe your face. You didn't have to do a lot that you did for it to be his habit. That was a lot.
Hot mess. It's a hot mess.
Hey, let me tell you something, boy. That the white is getting very 50 Cent. Like he finds a way to get in the news every 2 years or so. He get in there. Now, what do you think about that video? That's really what I want to ask you about.
I thought it was a joke at first. I thought it was a skit or something at first, because I thought it.
You thought it was some baking soda or some sugar.
Yeah, they got to be baking soda. They got to be flour, not powder. But I mean,
yeah,
no sane person is gonna do that. I mean,
no sober person either.
Yeah, you saw how big that bag was,
man. Tony Montana saw how big that bag was.
Yeah, I'm like, dang, you working with the cartel?
Man, Nino Brown saw how big that bag was.
Yeah, I thought it was terrible all the way around. I mean,
She
I'm
took
like,
that man.
okay.
I mean,
Yeah, they both need to get some help, seriously, because
that was a big old bag.
like, they was like this.
And they ain't gonna come out. See, that's something. It was almost like I'm gonna go talk about this Joker in the car, but before I go, because she had her personal.
Yeah,
that was her personal. Stop playing. Come on now, that was her personal.
Yeah, they both need to get some help. I mean, some intensive help, because that just wasn't good. I'm gonna look at that, and I'm gonna say that's a cry from help. That's a cry for help for both parties. That's how I'm gonna look at
Amy
it.
Winehouse.
Yeah, because
she was doing too much.
Yeah,
she was
way
doing
too much.
Now, speaking of doing too much, we have some allegations. And that's the one thing we need to do, man. And I'm gonna get into this. But Michigan, is he former? Yeah,
Yep.
he former. Yeah, he former. Michigan's former coach, Sharon Moore, has had all felony charges dropped in the stalking, domestic situation that he was in a few months back, where he has since lost his job and ridiculed all over the internet and social media by the moral police. But our question is always about the comeback. Will this tarnish him, and will they allow him back into a Power 5 school with all and put this behind him? Does he deserve a second chance?
I think he can get back into coaching, but he's going to have to take the Bobby Petrino route and go to a smaller school in a smaller subdivision and work his way there. And after some time, he's going to have some success. And after some time has gone by, somebody thinks, hey, man, we might be able to get more. What you think? Yeah, I think he's doing pretty good at Arkansas State. Yeah, I think we can bring him up here to Bowling Green. I just said Bowling Green just to use the school. So Eddie George, just not against you at all. But and yeah, we can bring him up here. I think we can sneak him up here because it's not too many eyes on us. We can sneak him up here, but I don't think he's going to be at a P5 anymore. I don't, and granted, they said the cop. He say he was framed. The cops planted evidence and other stuff, which is horrible.
They do. That's horrible.
Yeah, but when you look at his lack of judgment and the fact that, regardless, people are gonna look at the fact that he was cheating on his wife. The woman is his mistress, and the fact that he was cheating on his wife, and we know it might be
still married.
Yeah.
He married to a white woman?
She's gonna stand beside him. That's what she said. But the fact that he was doing that, the fact that he did that, there are other people in position who can hire him or whatnot, who are doing the same thing, but are gonna look at him and say, no, we can't have that. So it will be a double standard. It will be hypocritical, but they're gonna use that against him. I don't think he's gonna, because it still comes down to your moral fiber and your character. Because another thing, would you feel comfortable letting your son come and play for him? He's supposed to help guide and help mold your son while he's away from home and have a big impact. Do you look at that and say, well, that's a very questionable choice that you made, or a decision that you made. And if I'm a father who hasn't ever stepped out at all, I'm going to look at you a little different than I would if you didn't have those charges and you hadn't been stepping out on your wife. So I think that right there might be the thing that really hurts them even more, the moral police. And does he deserve a second chance? I'm okay if he gets a second chance, but I think he's going to have to go through a redemption process, like everybody does. He might have to, and because of the hue of his skin, his redemption process might be longer and more intensive than others.
Because the redemption process for a black coach, when they just lose their job for win-loss record, can be a climb.
Mm-hmm.
But here's what I'm going to say. I think he can make it back to a Power 5 school, but it has to be a particular Power 5 school that he makes it back to. But I do like your idea about a smaller school, and I'm going to give you my insight on that one. If he goes back to a Power 5 school, it needs to be BYU. Because I was listening to Fred Warner, and Fred Warner was telling me that the students at BYU, student athletes, and I think all the students, if I'm not mistaken, signed this contract that they will not have premarital sex or partake in any of that while in school. And these kids like really abide by that. So he needs to be in that environment where he can really focus in on coaching, and he doesn't have to have that all of that around him. You know what I'm saying? All of them spirits, and he has all those temptations.
I can't see him saying I'm gonna be a Mormon, because that's basically what he's gonna have to end up being.
I mean,
yeah.
I don't know if you got to be one to coach, but I got to figure that out. But yeah, so I'm just saying, as far as that environment is concerned, because I think they good, and they got him a nice little coach over there at Notre Dame, and I'm just speaking on Power 5. Now, smaller school, I didn't know he was married, but I think his wife might find this safe too. Go around to a HBCU, because you don't seem to be particular about the black women. Not saying white women don't go to HBCUs, and not saying that somewhere down the street you might find you some white women, but I'm just saying be around more black women for whom you don't find yourself tempted by, and just coach.
Well, he can't.
You might be straight.
Yeah. Well, don't send. He can't go to FAMU because Florida State is right across the street.
FSU too close. FSU
too close. He can't go to Alabama A&M because Fam
still got some of them.
Yeah.
Fam got them women that are taken back to the default settings too, boy. I don't know, boy. Woo. Woo.
Yeah.
You might need to go to Bethune.
Yeah, you're gonna have to go where nobody else around.
Shout out to all my BCU alumni that's probably watching, saying I'm trying to be funny. Albany State. You know what I'm saying? Do something like that. But at any rate, Buddy gonna have to start from the bottom.
Yeah.
And work his way back up.
And also we gotta also look at, really, you have to look at it and be like, okay, how good of a coach is he really? As far as to get put back into P5. I mean, that's going to come into play.
Michigan don't have great recruits. It's like one of the most overrated schools since the 80s. So he did some level of coaching. I'm gonna give him that.
Yeah. I'm not saying that he didn't. I'm just
some level.
That's something that got to be looked at.
Right. I don't think the recruits were carrying him.
Yeah. Worst case scenario, Jim Harbaugh hire him. Say, hey man, come on my staff. You can be my get back coach.
No, you don't want that.
You can be my get back coach.
No, you don't want that. You know what Jim Harbaugh coach? Jim Harbaugh is coaching in LA. No. That's too close to UCLA and USC and just LA itself. You don't want that. You don't want that. You don't want that. All right. We are in the digital era.
Mm-hmm.
Coach remote from home. Send him the tapes. Have him draw some stuff up. Put it on Zoom. Send it back. That's it.
Mm.
You know.
Yeah,
You don't want nobody out of control like that. But he probably, you know, he probably got a lawsuit coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Being Crump probably then called him already.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see a lawsuit coming.
About that disrupted, but that corrupt police thing. But anyway, as we end and we going into this last and final curve, we're gonna get back to our favorite sport, NFL football, and we just gonna talk about these free agent signings and mis-signing. And I guess I'm gonna just let Tank have this one because I am not the guy to talk about until after the draft because I kind of want to see what free agency, unless it's a splash. I like to see what free agency has done in comparison to the spots you fill in going into the OTAs. So, what did you see in particular that you liked? And I guess I can put it in a little box, and keep it specific. Who looked as if they did right by their free agency signings moving forward, getting their needs? Because I know the main one you about to go with first, and let's go with it.
I think Kansas City did Pat Mahomes and that entire team a huge service by signing Kenny Walker, and they signed him to 3 years, $45 million, with what was it, $28 million guaranteed, 26, something like that. $15 million a year. I thought that's what he was gonna get. I thought that's what I would have paid him. I only have a problem with the fact that the Steelers didn't sign him. That's my only issue with that. But I think that was a splash. It didn't take long at all. I think they got a young, strong back who's fast. And we know Andy Reid is very creative. I think that we're going to see some things out of Kenny Walker's game that we didn't know about. I expect that this is going to really help Patrick Mahomes, because until they get some real receiving help, you know, he can lean. Now he's got a running game he can actually lean on. And I also think that, Kelsey signing that 1-year deal, he gave them a hometown discount because I'm sure this is probably going to be his last year. That's going to help. It gives Mahomes a comfort level with somebody who he's been through the wars with. I don't know what the fascination with left-handed, injury-prone quarterbacks the Falcons have, but why would you sign Tua? Granted, it's a minimum 1-year deal, but why would you sign a guy who is injury-prone, has only had one good year, and granted, he came cheap, only $1 million, but why would you sign somebody like that when your starting quarterback is injury-prone himself? And what really is Tua going to be able to impart to him as the backup? Because the stuff that Tua doesn't do the stuff that he needs to do. You got some guys that are backups, but they know what to do, and they can tell you, hey, you need to do this, and this is why you need to do it, and how you need to do it, even though they don't have the physical capabilities of doing it themselves. But they're smart, and they know. What are you going to get from Tua in the training, in film session? He can't even fall right without his head getting around. I don't understand. Why would you sign Tua? At least get somebody who you know, even if he doesn't play well, he can get through. He can get through some games without being injury prone.
So Tua already putting you in a position to have 3 quarterbacks on the roster, 3 full quarterbacks.
Yeah, because and we know he's concussion prone. I mean, that's just call it what it is. And with each subsequent concussion, it's been proven that you're more prone to get another one. That's why Javid Best, who played running back with the Rams, with the Lions first round draft pick some years ago, he retired quickly because he'd had concussions in college, and when he got to the NFL, he kept having them. Tua is on that trajectory, and I'm telling you now, if he has another concussion, or heaven forbid 2 concussions this year, somebody needs to go tell him, hey, you need to go ahead and retire, otherwise you're gonna need a drool bucket by the time you're 35.
I thought you were going to go here. Michael Penix first, Tua second. What are they thinking about?
I mean, we already know what you got in Penix, right? Well, you don't know because he ain't even played a full season yet. But why would you get Tua? Penix, we don't even know when Penix is going to be ready. You don't even know when he's going to be ready. And you got somebody who skill set wise is similar, because Tua can't run. Tua has no speed, and Penix,
both of them gonna sit in that pocket.
Yeah, and Penix, to be as fast as he is, as far as the 40, he can't move, which is the damnedest thing I ever seen. I've never seen a 4.4 guy who can't damn move. I mean, it's like he's an unathletic athlete. You know,
he might be fast and not quick.
Yeah, I mean, it's like he can't get out of harm's way. He can't get out of his own way. And the fact that, I don't know, and Stefanski, I don't know if he had a big hand in this or not, but I don't know what the Falcons are doing to quarterback. And their biggest question mark is because
Stefanski likes short quarterbacks.
Yeah, because Penix is injury prone. That's the biggest thing. And somebody else your boy is going cross from one bay to another in San Francisco. Mike Evans, a 3-year deal for $60 million.
Yeah,
that's what got me. Do you think he's going to actually play another 3 years?
I think, just as they stated, his old wide receiver coaches over there, I think that a lot of that money and the percentage of that money was, let me teach the next group of receivers to be receivers, and which is why the Bucs should have kept him with that crop that they have. And I think San Francisco was looking at that like, I have 2 coaches, you know, an actual coach and a coach that could be the example for these players that we about to get. So I'm watching that a little bit too, because I really want to pay attention to how they draft, because I do believe that they're about to start taking a lot of those. Well, it wasn't their fault because of what IU did, but I don't think they found anybody. Yeah, they need receivers, and I don't think they found anyone that can take a lot of that productivity from a pass perspective out of McCaffrey's hands. I don't think they want to utilize him that much, because a lot of his touches, as he progresses in his career. Remember, a lot of people forget he was with Carolina for a little while.
Yeah.
You know, it's had wear and tear on his body. You know, and we need to get some possessions. I'm saying they need to get some possessions, keep the ball moving, because their defense was on the field a lot, which is wear and tear on a good defensive body. So I just want to see what they do in the draft. I like this move for that reason, because I believe theoretically that's what they were thinking about when they did that. Not necessarily, to be the White Claw or something.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they may use him down there just inside 10.
Yeah, and I also think that they gave him that 3-year deal because that's security for him. And like, hey, he's probably not going to play out the 3 years, but we don't want to have to revisit this.
We don't want to have to revisit this next
to
year.
do this. Hey, what you feel about $20 million a year for 3 years, $60 million? Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah,
we both know that you probably won't play the full 3 or
high
after the second. 2 years you would probably retire. Or if you do the 3 years, we probably rework it after the second year. So, and
also,
it's cap friendly.
He might not be that long in that California entertainment tax and how the cost of living up there.
Yeah,
where he live? Come on, catch me a few Golden State games. Catch me the end of Steph's career. We good.
Yeah,
catch up on my E40.
Yeah, I also think that Pacheco, he's going to the Lions, so that's going to take the place of David Montgomery, and it might. I think it'll be a good fit for him, but they're not going to ask him to carry the ball a lot. But it's a change of pace. It's more of he's got speed, or at least he had it, but he does run with power. He runs hard, so he's going to be the one who's going to be banging, as opposed to Gibbs, who's just 60 yards waiting to happen anytime he touches the ball. And I don't even want to talk about it, but I hate that the Steelers are looking at everybody else go to Neiman Marcus and shop, and the Steelers are going to damn Dollar Tree.
Welcome to the club. It seems like our Cowboy love everybody out of Arizona. Everybody.
I mean, Rico Dowdle is not the answer running back.
I don't mind Green Bay, but that's why I don't like to talk about it.
Yeah. And Michael Pittman Jr., that gives us another number 2 receiver. Another number 2, because we already got one number 2, and that's DK.
We're looking like a number 1 for a while, but you're right.
Yeah, he's not a big threat guy, and it also tells you he wasn't high on the list of priorities for the Colts because they signed Anthony Pierce to that $100-some million contract.
So what do you think about this move? I like this move on paper. Trent McDuffie to the Los Angeles Rams.
Yeah, I'm one of those people who, until he proves different, anything you get Sean McVay, I'm gonna say, yeah, okay, it's gonna probably work. So I don't have an issue with that.
They don't mind free agent cornerbacks.
No, they don't.
Like they always have had that one free agent cornerback that just come over there and see what they can do.
Mm-hmm.
For a year or two. They paying out okay.
They pay
out okay. They paying out okay.
But I'm going to see what's going to happen. I think the Colts are going to end up being able to keep Daniel Jones. They gave him the transition tag.
Right.
So that was a gamble, but the fact that he's coming off an injury, they know, okay, we don't really have to worry too much about him leaving. But I'm curious to see what they're going to do with Anthony Richardson, who's just been abysmal. And I also want to see, because Kyler Murray's got the word that, hey, you ain't coming back here. But they did sign. But Arizona signed Algier from running back from Atlanta.
From Atlanta.
They also
I like that.
signed
I like that
receiver.
to get some. He deserves some touches.
Yeah.
He don't need to be sharing with Bijan no more. I mean, not saying he's a total all, but
I think that Kyler Murray is going to end up. I thought because they do stupid stuff, I thought he would end up with the Jets, but the Jets have made a trade and they got Geno Smith at quarterback. So all I got to say is, after this season, I would not be surprised if Aaron Glenn is fired.
Aaron might be leaving him with nothing to work with.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Geno's better than he was in his original run with the Jets, but that's not saying much because of how bad he was with them. Now he's 10 years old, 10, 12 years older, and less of a threat.
Excuse me. So, thank you. So what you're saying is, when all of that, you have not shown me. Maybe it'll happen in the draft, but you have not given me any example through this point in free agency where someone has made an acquisition that's going to, one person, going to change. It's just totally flip the situation or fortunes for a team.
But I think that one guy who's got a chance because he's with his old coach and he knows what he can do, and they got a little nucleus, the Giants, with getting Isaiah Likely at tight end, and they've got Neighbors, who he comes back, and Neighbors has an opportunity to be a damn good receiver. Now you got a receiver who can get downfield in Neighbors. You got Likely who can work underneath and you know he is a threat. Jackson Dart is young, but I think he's gonna be all right. And you got a cult figure in Scatterbo, but they're gonna also I know they're gonna have another running back. I think the Giants' offense is shaping up to be pretty formidable. If
I'm still gonna give Scatterbo the 3 year.
Yeah, I don't think Scatterbo's a star. I think he's a cult figure, he's a cult hero, and he's a hard worker, and people
I think they
gonna love
should
him.
have got David Montgomery and had him back there with Scatterbo. But that's just me.
That would be good. Montgomery's Montgomery's going to do a good job for CJ.
He's gonna do a good job, CJ. Yeah. I just think that would have been the thunder and lightning that the Lions like. But as I was stating, you still haven't told me anyone that I want you to give me the equivalent of young Michael Jackson joining the Jackson 4 and taking him to another stratosphere. That happened in free agency.
I don't think it's happened yet, or at this point in time, I don't think anybody's doing that now. We might see after the season, during the season, it might come to pass. But my favorite pickup still is Kenny Walker to the
right now he's he's possibly Johnny Gibbs on a new edition.
Yeah.
Okay. After losing Bobby and Trent. Which brings us to our homework from last week and our hit refresh moment as we hit the refresh button. And I want you to tell me, as I stated before, all time or current, what would be your sports equivalent? And it's all sports. Probably not all sports.
All team sports.
All team sports. Yeah, all team sports. What would be your team sports equivalent to Michael Jackson and the Jackson 5? And I guess what that would be is this guy just stood out. Even though they did well as a group, this guy really carried them to the next level.
Yeah, and without him, nothing.
Yeah, nothing.
Yeah. So we're looking at a superstar who carried his team, and without him, that team would have been mediocre or less.
Pretty
Okay,
much.
before I give you my answer, and I think this is a great answer that I got, I'm gonna name some of the ones that were listed when I posted it.
Okay.
One guy said one person said John Elway with the Broncos in the 80s.
What year?
The 80s, all the 80s team
Okay.
Broncos. Somebody else said Michael Jordan, and they went in on her and said no. He said mediocre. They still were a bad call away from making the playoffs with Pippen leading them. Somebody else said Giannis. Somebody else said who was it? Magic. Another person. Magic with the Magic with the Lakers. Somebody else said
I don't know about that one, but go ahead.
Yeah. Shaq with the Lakers, and then they said Shaq with the Magic. Another person said,
hold on, but where did I guess we ain't gonna talk about what they said. I'm just trying. I'm thinking aloud.
Yeah, and another person said all of those Cleveland teams with LeBron.
I knew he was gonna go there. I knew he was gonna go there. Now, was that the last one?
Yeah, those are the ones that really jumped out at.
I'm gonna pull out of that for a second, right quick, before we go. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna pull out of that because I'm gonna give you two Bulls in that one. Okay. When Jordan got drafted, maybe, but the Jordan Pippen era was more Earth, Wind, and Fire, because I gotta give Scotty. He can be Maurice or he can be Phil, whichever one. Not Phil Jackson. I'm talking about Philip Bailey. Them two. You can't take that away. So I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there. I might agree with you. I might to a degree, but I don't. With the LeBron. But go ahead.
Yeah, I would say it's hard to say that about the Bulls when Pippen was voted to what was the top 50 all-time
top 50, team? Top 75.
Yeah. No, it's kind of hard. Kind of hard to say that.
Kind of hard to say that.
Yeah. But for me, and I had to go to college.
And remember, we talking to Michael Jackson. That's why I'm switching the bands.
Yeah.
John Elway. Hold on. That John Elway was kind of
Hey man, he dragged those teams, those Denver teams that got blown out on 3 straight Super Bowls. He dragged them. They weren't the Three Amigos was just a cute name. They weren't no great players. Sammy Winder was not. Sammy Winder was a below average back.
So he didn't have a defense.
They got blown out.
When they got there.
Yeah,
so
the defense wasn't that.
When they got blown out, John Elway wasn't scoring either.
The defense wasn't that good. It's kind of hard to score when your defense puts you down by 20.
I don't know, man.
In the first 5 minutes. So, but he said to Elway,
man.
He said, yeah, Elway was. I thought Elway was a good one.
Yeah,
but my two, and then I had to go to college.
You got two?
I got two.
Go ahead.
The first one is, and I'm going this chronological order. The 1980 Georgia Bulldogs. Herschel left, Herschel right, Herschel up the middle. Herschel, we need you. Herschel, get us out of this. Herschel, don't make us have to ask Buck Bellew to throw the ball. Herschel, can you eat some clock up so we don't have to put the defense back on the field? It was Herschel. The only Clarence K was the tight end, one of the tight ends who made it to the NFL. The rest of them guys didn't make it. They didn't make it. So and most people, unless you're a Bulldog fan or SEC diehard or whatnot, you can't name too many other people from that Bulldogs team.
I know where you're going with your next one.
And you got Lindsey Scott who didn't bust a great. He made that one catch in his career. My next one, and this is his coup de grace for his college, for football career. Cam Newton, 2010 with
Absolutely.
Auburn.
Absolutely.
Only one other player on that team ever even suited up in the NFL, and that was Nick Fairley on defense. And he didn't do much in the NFL. But
Absolutely.
Cam Newton literally carried that team to a championship. And that team wasn't even considered. They weren't even on anybody's radar the year before Cam got there. Cam got there and just decided, man, I think I want to. I won a championship in JUCO last year. I want to win a national championship in college
on every level.
I think I'm going to do that. Yeah. So Cam is my Jackson, and Cam is my Michael Jackson, who didn't need the other four guys, but he brought them along for the ride. I don't think there's a better
in college.
Mm-hmm.
Got jilted out of his Thriller tour to make it a absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I mean, it's Cam, and for that reason, I'll say single season. That's probably the greatest college season a player's ever had.
Absolutely.
Because of his passing numbers, yardage wise, weren't mind blowing, but he scored touchdowns and he rushed for over 1,000 yards. And you're talking about somebody who we hadn't seen before, and still from a physically just stature looking at him, we haven't seen since at the quarterback position in college or the pros. Tim Tebow would be the closest in college as far as looking at him stature-wise, and Josh Allen's closest in the pros. But Cam Newton is one of those people you look at, and other big guys look at and say, that's a big human being.
Oh my God.
Big people would say that's a big human being. And like, what do you mean you're a quarterback? On what? In Madden? No, I play quarterback.
Cam don't find out he's small until he get next to NBA players.
Yeah.
And be like, oh, okay, I'm a shooting guard. That's a big boy.
Yeah.
That was yours?
Yep.
Okay, I have two, and I'm gonna keep it at I didn't do NFL.
Okay.
I think it's too hard. But I'm gonna rock with that 1993 Michael Vick Virginia Tech squad that met Florida State. I'm just trying to figure out who's playing with him.
Lee Suggs was the running back, but that don't mean nothing as far as he didn't go next level and do anything. And Corey Moore, the defensive end.
Corey Moore, the defensive end. Yeah. So he was kind of that was who that was for me, and he was actually my 1B because you took McCam.
Okay.
All right, but my one is 1996, 20-62. And then you added this man to the roster because he fits everything.
Okay.
And I'm going to say his mentor on that squad might have been Jermaine. But, and it's not to say he was a slouch. I'm just talking about you were 20-62, and then you jumped up to 56. Because your daddy and your coach thought you could make it without him, but you found out this young man got added here, and it's just not the same. Tim Duncan, when he got to the San Antonio Spurs, changed the fate of the San Antonio Spurs. Even with David Robinson, Tim Duncan took them on another level. Then when David Robinson left with a whole different type of squad, Tim Steele.
Yeah.
Handling business.
Very underrated.
Very underrated. Michael Jackson-esque Jackson 5 situation. Shout out to Steven Jackson, who was actually a Jackson on one of them squads. Hey, boy, hey, boy, Stack, you better hit me up, man. I didn't mention your name twice. My guy. But at any rate, those are my Michael Jacksons. Anybody else got any in the chat? They want to dispute what we say. They want to dispute what they said in the group. Please feel free to email us at nojasshow@gmail.com or hit us on the chat in our group on Facebook at No Jazz Show, NOJASSSHOW. Hit us in the chat on Instagram at THENOJASSSHOW. Please, and when you do that, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Shout out to all our new subscribers on YouTube. You'll find us on YouTube at No Jazz Show. So like, subscribe, comment, and share with us all of your thoughts on our show. And we thank you all for joining us live. We thank you all for coming out. Make sure you find us live 10:15, between 10 to 15, mostly 10:15 on Tuesday nights in the off season.
10:15 Eastern Standard Time.
10:15 Eastern Standard Time. What is that on the West Coast?
7:30, 7:15.
7:15, right. Oh, you on that end of the West Coast. You okay. But anyway, 7:15 Pacific. And had a little something in there. But yeah, you can find us on YouTube. Find us live on in the locker room. Find us live on Riverside.fm. Our TikTok page. The other
X.
one. Well, we're on X at No Jazz Show. Twitch. We live on Twitch. We're gonna get that information about 15 minutes after we close down. But do you have any last words, Tank, before we go?
Just real quick, just want to say rest in peace to Matt Snell, former running back with the New York Jets, who passed away today at the age of 84. His most famous moment probably I'm sure it would be Super Bowl III, 30 carries, 121 yards, 1 touchdown, the go-ahead and winning touchdown for the Jets in what is still considered arguably the biggest upset in the history of professional football. Hey, rest in peace. And he, for me, I know I've gone back. I watched the actual game, the entire game, and granted, I know why Namath was given the MVP. But to me, I think Matt Snell should have been the MVP of that game. But even back then, when in doubt, you give it to the winning quarterback. But rest in peace to Matt Snell, and condolences to his family, fans, and friends.
Absolutely. Rest in peace to the great Matt Snell. Condolences to his family. Most definitely. And for my last words, I just want to keep this brief. Never, and people always say this because do we have a million years? But never in a million years would I have thought, never a million eons, years, whatever the case may be. Never would have crossed my mind. Never would have crossed my mind. For real. Never would have crossed my mind that the person to surpass Kobe's 81-point performance would be Bam Adebayo. Out on Asia, shout out to Asia Wilson. We have been conducting ourselves properly, involving the women in this group. So I'm gonna say on this platform. So I'm gonna say shout out to Asia Wilson for whatever 3 or 4 moves on offense you gave. Yeah, they still. your boyfriend, fiance, whatever y'all are right now. I'm pretty sure you had something to do with that. 83 points for Bam. Like Bam, you just and I want to go watch all 83 because I hope you did it from the 4 or the 5. I hope you showed why y'all need to get somebody down there and y'all need to stop stretching everything out to the perimeter. I hope you did it on the front court because I want to see if it was some old school basketball. I want to see if you had some high percentage shots. I want to see if it was easy because kids, if it was, watch it. My boy, Bam Adebayo, I am so proud of you. Never would I have thought. And you might have, in some crazy way, solidified yourself in the NBA Hall of Fame because you got the top girl. You got the top girl. And what are you now? Second ever in points scored in the NBA? Wow.
In the game, yeah.
In a game. In a game. And Bam Adebayo. That is my last word. Congratulations to you. Man. Big ups to you, buddy. And like I say, this has been the No Jazz Show. I want to thank you all for joining us. And Tank, do what you normally do at the end of the show. Salute these people as we say goodbye.
See you next week. That's a lot of points. That's a lot of points. I wonder how many shots he took.
That's a lot of points, man.
Yeah.
That's a lot of points for somebody that beat.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.